Hey guys, Aaron Dorr here with Washington Gun Rights. If you're a gun owner in House District number 5, this is Kittitas County and Snohomish County, take a moment to watch this brief video as we compare Representative Lisa Callan versus her challenger Patrick Peacock in the upcoming position number 2 race. Guys, everyone knows it's been a very tough couple of years here in Washington State in the fight for the Second Amendment. Jay Inslee passed the nation's worst so-called assault weapons ban very recently. The fight to overturn that in federal court is ongoing. The problem, though, is that the gun grabbers in Olympia are not done. And if Bob Ferguson becomes the governor, their to-do list on when it comes to gun control would make things much, much worse for all of us in Washington State. So it's critical at election time, especially in swing seats like this, that gun owners stand up and send a message. Now, in this video, I cannot tell you guys who to vote for. What we can do, though, here at Washington Gun Rights is give you guys the information you have to have on the candidates to make your own most informed decision. Before I do that, a very brief programming note. Due to the crazy laws here in Washington State, we can't boost this video on social media. It's very common for gun groups in different states to do videos like this and then promote them in the districts to give gun owners the information they have to have. But again, we can't do that here. So we're counting on you guys to tag your friends in the comments section or grab the entire video and share it on your own social media platforms to help us get the word out there. You can find us on YouTube. You can find it on our Twitter page. You can find it on Facebook. Wherever you're watching this, be sure and get this information to your friends. Now, in this video, we're going to begin with the challenger in this race, Patrick Peacock. He is not the incumbent. There's no votes to review when it comes to his stance on the Second Amendment. What we know about Patrick is that he is a retired military member. He was involved with the United States Special Forces 7th Group. He saw active combat in Afghanistan. He has a combat action badge and a Bronze Star for his service to the country. So this guy already has a history of fighting for freedom in a very different capacity, but very much so was engaged in that fight. If you go to his social media pages, you go to his website, you'll realize that Patrick Peacock has this almost novel idea about how to deal with violent criminals in Washington State. And it sounds something like put them in prison. And so while the left and Lisa Callan are always trying to demonize gun owners, they're always trying to blame us for the actions of violent criminals, Patrick knows what most of us know. The problem we have in Washington State is violent criminals who are coddled by our prosecutors, who are not put in prison, who are free to re-offend. So when it comes to Patrick Peacock, a history of being involved fighting for freedom literally all across the globe, and he realizes that demonizing gun owners will not stop the crime problem in Washington State. That's a brief recap on Patrick Peacock. That brings up Lisa Callan. She's been in office since she won in 2018, so unfortunately, she's had a lot of time to attack the Second Amendment during her time in the House. I'm going to briefly go through, I think it's 4 of the worst votes that she's cast when it comes to supporting gun control. But more important than that, talk about what's coming next and what we think Lisa Callan would vote for based on her previous voting history. To begin with, we can never forget that Lisa Callan was a yes vote on the AR-15 ban, Jay Inslee's big push. So again, while violent criminals run wild in all of our big cities in Washington State, Lisa wants to limit your self-defense options and make you and I the bad guys. Never forget, that was one of her big moves on gun control. Number 2, Lisa Callan voted yes on magazine limits. We've all seen the videos from our big cities. We all know that we're not just dealing with one lone wolf predator. We have criminal street gangs who are taking over significant portions of lots of our big cities. And the idea of telling a law-abiding citizen here in Washington State, you can only have 10 rounds to defend your loved ones is enraging. How do they know what I need to defend my family? How many criminals am I confronting at any one particular time, or who are confronting me? The idea of limiting our rights when violent thugs run wild is insane. That's what Lisa Callan did. Number 3, this session was a yes vote on the open carry ban on various sensitive places in Washington State. In 2008, the Heller case in the United States Supreme Court, the court laid out sensitive places as a place where the government had the right to restrict firearms. They were referring to places like jails and courtrooms and things like that. that was restated again in the Bruin case in 2022. But because of that sensitive places reference, we have blue state governors like our own Jay Inslee and Gavin Newsom and East Coast governors as well, who are trying to say, oh, okay, well, we're just going to define half of our dang state as a sensitive place and ban guns there. That's what Inslee did. So this area extends the list of places we cannot carry, even though, again, violent criminals, violent predators will ignore that law and come after our loved ones. It was one more vote against your gun rights, which protects and helps coddle violent criminals. That's Lisa Callan. Number 4, a recent vote on a bill which increases or creates penalties on stolen firearms. So you're out of town with your family on vacation or whatever it is you're doing. You come home, some thug has kicked in the front door of your home. They have stolen your firearms. There's a lot going on in a situation like this. Number 1, is your home even secure? Is there a bad guy still on your property? That's one big question. You have to then restore some sense of security. Replace the door, fix the door frame, calm down your family. You have to call your insurance guy because your guns have been stolen. There's a lot of things happening here. And if you don't call the police on Lisa Callan's timetable, Lisa has now helped pass a bill, and the bill number, I've got it here handy, it is HB 1903, which creates criminal penalties not against the dirtbag who broke into your home, but against you and against me for not calling the police fast enough to report that theft. That is the level of hatred that Lisa Callan and her allies in Olympia have for all of us. These laws only hurt us, not dangerous criminals. These are 4 of the most recent votes that Lisa has cast to harm your gun rights and lower public safety here in Washington State. But what's on the horizon? What would she likely vote for coming up? What's next in the gun control movement here in Washington State? Number 1 is a very obvious one: ammo registration. Ammo registration. It's already law right now in California. There's lawsuits filed there. It's already law right now in New York State. There's lawsuits filed there. And blue state governors in Illinois and here in Washington State, we're being told, are rapidly trying to draft legislation for next session to make this a reality here. And what this would do is register every single round of ammunition that we buy. Like a criminal, like a child sex offender on a registry, we'd be in a database and the government would know down to the individual box of 22 shells how much ammo you possess. Now, the absurdity here is hard to comprehend, right? So our country, just in the last 4 years, under Joe Biden, has 10 or 11 million foreign nationals who have flooded into our country. We have no idea who they are, what their background is, what they've done. What we do know is that the DHS themselves released a recent document where hundreds of thousands of these people have been convicted here in America. And in that list, the DHS has the non-detained docket. And what that is a list of violent foreign nationals convicted of crimes who are not currently in prison, thus the non-detained part of that, who have also not been deported. And on this list are over 10,000 convicted murderers and rapists, again, foreign nationals convicted by our courts, not in jail and not deported. They're walking freely around our cities. These people are walking amongst us, and all Lisa Callan wants to do is register you and me in the amount of ammo that we buy. It is the biggest slap in the face to gun owners that I've perhaps ever heard of. But guys, it gets even worse. Finally, what's next? Mental health exams for gun owners. I'm going to say that again. Mental health exams for gun owners. This is already making its way through the process in other blue states, and we're being told by our sources it is coming here in Olympia come January of next year. How this would work is the government, Bob Ferguson, if he becomes the governor, government-funded mental health professionals, whatever that means, my guess is that she's going to have purple hair or something like that, if you follow my drift. You're going to meet with one of these mental health professionals, and they're going to ask you questions to see whether or not you and I are mentally fit to own a firearm. And if you admit, heavy sarcasm, if you admit to loving our founding fathers, loving our flag, loving our country, if you admit that you think that Jay Inslee is an idiot and a tyrant, and that Bob Ferguson is a tyrant, you're probably not going to be approved as being mentally fit enough to possess a firearm. Again, this is happening right now in different states, and it's on the move here. And Lisa Callan, based on all of these votes, is almost guaranteed to vote for that commie crap in Olympia if given the chance. So guys, the recap here and the difference here could not be more clear. Patrick Peabody, a lifetime of service fighting for freedom. Lisa Callan, 6 years of service in the House, fighting to make criminals out of you and me, fighting to protect actual criminals, but make criminals out of law-abiding gun owners who simply want the right to keep and bear arms, to stop criminals, and to prevent tyranny from occurring here in America. Guys, again, do me a favor. We cannot boost this video, so tag your friends in the comments section or share it online. Make sure everyone knows the facts on these two candidates. And guys, again, storm the polls on November 5 and send a message that there are still many people here in Washington State who care about freedom. Take care, guys.